So armed with her degree and teaching, Cecile Black stepped out into the world to practice law. And she joins us now to share her story of how she was able to open a legal aid firm to fulfill her calling to help people. Cecile, good morning to you. Thank you for being with us this morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine.
Okay, so tell me, what's the length of that journey from when you started to do law to now having your own legal aid firm?
It feels like a long time, but it's only been 4 years.
Oh, that's impressive. So, well, first of all, tell me what was it about law that called you?
Well, ever since the age of 6, I wanted to be a lawyer. And when I got into grade 6, my teacher, Mr. Williams, told me I need to be a lawyer because of something that happened in the class. And he asked me what I wanted to be, and I told him, and he said, "You are going to be a lawyer. What the mind conceive and believe, it can achieve."
Mm-hmm. And so from that time, you were passionate to do it. Was there ever any doubt? Was there anything else that you thought perhaps you were destined to do, or did you just always know that law was it?
No, I always knew that law is the calling. Law is what I was going to do. I was going to be a lawyer no matter what.
And when you started to prepare to get into the field of law, when you headed into school and so on, was it everything you thought it would be? Did you stay true to, the excitement of it, or anything along the way that you were like, I never thought it would have been like this?
Well, it was not Law and Order for sure. Growing up, I always thought it would be like Matlock and, all the TV shows. It was nothing. I don't even think I've ever said objection in court before.
So what was the point?
So it was definitely not like Law and Order. But still, I had a person in my community. He was a lawyer for some time before he was disbarred. And he used to sit me down and talk to me about what to expect in law school and how to navigate my career to not end up in the same position that he found himself in. So I was, I had information from that person going in.
The importance of mentorship, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very important. So tell me a little bit about why you decided that you would open a firm, but a legal aid firm at that.
All right, so I believe that persons experience things in life that will automatically determine the trajectory that their life would go in. Growing up, I'm just the last one from my mother, so I was the spoiled wash belly, as country people would like to call it. My parents and my sisters, they helped me, they paid my way through school. I didn't have to worry about tuition or anything like that. If my parents couldn't afford to give me something, best believe my sisters were always there to ensure that I had everything I needed. And so after I graduated from law school, my father and my grandmother got ill and my mother had to care for them. And I just didn't want to burden my family with caring for me after paying for 2 degrees and the second one being a law degree at that. I didn't want to burden them at all. And so I decided that I would take the money from my mother, which was enough to pay my rent for 6 months in Kingston, and that I would try my best to make it on my own, knowing that if ever I should be in need, I had that plan B to call my family if I needed to, but I didn't want to. And so I ended up, I couldn't get a job for the I didn't get a job, period. I would send out hundreds of applications. I wouldn't get a call back from any establishment. And I felt a little bit discouraged, but I decided to sign up with the Legal Aid Council in Kingston and to do legal aid cases. And I eventually got a senior, Miss Jacqueline Asher, who taught me how to navigate the profession, how to properly price cases. Because when you're coming out as young counsel, you don't know how much money to really charge persons. And sometimes you find yourself completing the work and you didn't charge enough and you spend more than you were paid to actually get the job done. But I used to focus mostly on legal aid cases. And it was in that moment when I didn't want to call on my family for help. I normally had to choose whether or not I keep the lights on this month or I pay the internet bill. And if I buy food or stuff like that. So, I had to make those choices. And it was one night while using candlelight to read my files, I decided that, I made a vow and I said, Lord, if ever I should make it out of this predicament that I found myself in, I would not only welcome all the clients who are paying me well enough to represent them, but I would dedicate my time and efforts also to persons who can't afford it, because I knew I could call on my sisters and family members to help me out if I needed it. But what about persons who have no one to call on?
Yeah. Wow. That's a story. So you've opened the legal aid firm in Port Antonio, interestingly. So you left Kingston.
Yes, ma'am. I'm from Port Antonio originally.
You are from Port Antonio. And tell us how legal aid works. How does legal aid work, Cecile?
Well, our organization, you can come to us in one of two ways. If in relation to criminal law, you can come to us through the government, and I would accept legal aid assignments from the Legal Aid Council. Or you come to us directly and we conduct our own means test to assess how much to be paid.
I see. Okay.
And we only offer legal aid. We only offer legal aid in criminal litigation, family matters when it concerns, like complex area of law in relation to children and the maintenance, and also in contract. Because I used to do music back in the day, and I find that a lot of musicians or persons overall go into contract because they cannot afford to pay the legal fees to negotiate a particular contract and find themselves in a bad situation after they realize what they have signed.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And many folks who are signing musicians who have that, drive to boss and get big, often know that they have a blind spot with their potential clients and, sometimes take advantage of them. So tell me, we're going to go, we're wrapping up, but tell me how it feels to have accomplished this dream that you set out to accomplish. I see the sign there with your name on it, and you have your own building, and you've achieved so much in 4 years. How do you feel, and what is there left for you to do?
I feel like I don't want to sleep because I'm walking in my dream. I feel like I'm walking in my purpose, and it feels good because at the end of the day, I want to be able to sleep in the night. And I can do that with the work that we're doing here at Northeastern Legal Aid. And eventually I call it Northeastern Legal Aid because I want to open a firm like this one in St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, and St. Anne, so we could assist persons who are in need of our services.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that answers the second part of my question about what else there is to do. You got work, lady. Work to do as you build out. But obviously with your determination, it will be done. Thank you, Cecile Black. All the best to you. And congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Attorney at law and owner of Northeastern Legal Aid Society. Still to come, we're looking at tips to digitally transform restaurants in this age of COVID. First, though, News in 5 is next.